He's saying good. All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Village of Royal Palm Beach Special Magistrate hearing for Wednesday, January 8th, 2025. According to Verizon, it's 5:30, so we can get started. My name's Doug McGibbon. I'm the Special Magistrate. Hopefully everyone has signed in. Has everyone signed in so they can pull your case and get you out of here fast, and you can go buy a lotto ticket and hopefully be lucky? Okay, great. You didn't? You're going to need to see that lady here, and she can find your case in a second.
Right there. Just make sure you get sworn in.
All right. First thing we're going to do is swear everyone in because you just talked about it. So everyone, please raise your right hand. Say I do when we're done. Does everyone swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Say I do. All right, everyone except for the people out in the foyer, and we'll get them later. Most of our hearings today are either going to be fine assessment hearings or violation hearings. When you hear your name called, please go to that podium over there. You're going to give us your name and your address. The village will put on their case. They will ask you if you have any objection to their materials. You can question their witnesses. You can put on any case you want to as well. And then at the end of all that, I get to make a decision. That does switch for the last couple of pages of our agenda. Those people are asking for fine reductions. They have been through a violation hearing and a fine assessment hearing. Now they're asking for relief, so they get to go first, and the village will respond to them. I pretty much hit the highlights of my normal opening speech, so please take it away, Village of West or Royal Palm. It's one of the palms. I got 6 of them.
Thank you, Special Magistrate. Amity Barnard, Village Attorney. We're starting on the agenda today on page 2. These are fine assessment hearings. The third case down is 24-0437, 157 South State Road 7, number 101, 309, 315 11th Street, LLC. Microphone.
Oh, it's not on. I'd like Margaret Hancock, Code Enforcement Officer for the Village of Royal Palm. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures. Exhibit 4, AS400, permit information.
Okay, and who do we have on that case?
Sydney Stats on behalf of the property owner.
You are an Esk?
That's
He's
me.
an Esk. And do we have her spelling of her name?
No. What's your last name? How do you spell your last one?
Sats, S as in Tam. Oh my goodness. S as in Sam, A as in Apple, T as in Tom, Z as in Zebra.
Thank you.
No problem.
Are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into evidence? Is it okay if I set it down?
Sure,
You're
go
okay.
right ahead.
I just want to
No, you're good. Don't
set
worry.
it on top of your stuff. Exhibit 1 is the previous order finding violation with the signed certified mail. Page 2 of the order. Page 3 of the order. Exhibit 2 is verification of ownership. Exhibit 3 is photographs, dated photographs of the violation. Exhibit 4 is the village's permit information. Another page of that. And Exhibit 5 is the affidavit of compliance. Any objection to these documents?
No objection.
Thank you.
All right, admitted without objection. So we have an affidavit of compliance. Do we have a fine or do we have a finding? We have a fine. How much of a fine are we wanting in this case? Oh, you also have service via signed green card, so.
Your prior order was a bifurcated order, required compliance, separate compliance dates for each of the violations. So for the first 2 code sections, that's 2661G1 and 2349A6. The fine ran from 12/29 to 11/29, I'm sorry, 11/29 to 1/6, a total of 39 days. So that fine is $1,950 and not continuing. For code section 20-21, the fine ran from 12/27 to 12/29, 3 days. So that's $150 and not continuing.
All right, so which code section goes with the 150? Is that the 20-21? Okay. Just trying to keep everything straight here. No continuing. Why or why not? We are right or wrong?
Any objection? We're agreed.
Well, we will either pay or we will appeal, but we will go along with this portion of the program. All right. So we will find in case number 20-24-437, that the fine for 2661G1 and 2349A6 is $1,900.
Sorry, that should be 2,100 on the first fine, I'm sorry, not,
That's the total.
oh yeah, the order's going to be, yeah, so continue, I'm sorry.
$950. I'm trying to be really lawyer-specific here. And then-
1950 on Part A, right, and 150 on
And
Part B.
150 on the 20-21 violation, for a total of,
Go.
there's no continuing?
Continuing.
All right, granted. Your
Comply.
client will get an order.
Thank you very
You can
much.
do something with that.
Good evening.
Take care. Stay warm. All right, who's next?
Same page, two cases down, 24-0594, 200 Royal Palm Beach Boulevard, Yellowbird International Corp.
Like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures.
Come on down.
Good evening. My name is Veronica Espeleta.
Veronica, you're going to spell your last name for us so we don't butcher it.
Z as a zebra, P-E-L-E-T-A.
All right, Veronica, what is your position with Yellowbird International
I'm the
Corp?
official of the company, a person.
You're an officer?
Yes, I am.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Okay.
These are the exhibits that the village would like to enter. Is it okay if I set them down here?
Yes. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Exhibit 1 is the previous order finding violation with the signed certified mail. Page 2 of that order. Page 3 of that order. Exhibit 2 is verification of ownership showing who owns the property. Exhibit 3 is dated photographs. Any objection to these documents?
Yes, I mean,
So
we're,
just to the documents themselves, and then you can explain to the magistrate. Any objection to the documents themselves?
no, the documents obviously are the pictures.
Okay, and then
it's
you
a-
can explain to the magistrate whatever else you want.
Yeah.
And without objection, I see there's a signed green card on the top, so you have service. What would you like? Okay. So tell me about the violations, code officer. No, not you. her.
I would like to say
No,
that.
excuse me. She gets to go first.
Sorry.
Storing grease traps and other items in the parking lot area. And then they have a lot of dead and dying vegetation that needs to be replaced and restored to their original landscape plan. They did comply with removing the grease traps and stuff at this time. So that's going to be to continue to comply with that. And that's code section 2349E6. But they're still in violation of the dead and dying landscape.
All right, so now you get to go.
Thank you, Margaret. We were working with the city in addressing all the issues that we have on the property. The last thing that we have is that we just were approved for a complete renovation of the property. And the architect group is working on the plan. We're about to be ready in a few days to present up to a permit for that. The landscaping is part of that renovation. So I would like to ask an extension of the time. I can show you the project if it may approve to you.
Well, show it to council first, and then, or council can go over there and look, and then you can give it to me.
Let's do it all at once, so,
Yeah, that's how we look today, and that's part of the project.
okay,
Just a few pictures.
okay.
Thank you.
This is it?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, admitted without objection, defendant's composite number 1.
Yes, it's for
All right,
you.
so-
Thank you.
All right. All right, so defendant's number 1. All right, now that they've been admitted, tell me what you're going to do about this whole thing.
Working on the plans for a renovated landscaping, so I would like to request some more time to present the city new plans for that.
All right, the problem with that is that normally that would be a great request at the violation hearing. Isn't this a fine assessment? Yeah.
assessment, yeah. So we would ask that you impose the fine today. If she obviously has to go through, if they're doing a site plan modification to change the landscaping, that's a multi-month process.
Yeah.
This was cited back in July, so we're several months, 6 months, 7 months into the process here. We would ask you to start the fine, and they can come back for fine mitigation.
You're
But
you're
to
probably
ensure
going
they
to
go
have
through
to
the
come back for
process
a
quickly.
reduction hearing later on, because you could have asked for the extension during the violation hearing when I've given the power to do these sort of things unilaterally.
When it was that, I didn't have any
What's the
letter.
date on the order for the fine assessment? Well, that was
That's the first time that I know,
November 13th.
November 13th. And,
the time that I know that I have to
Hearing was the
come.
13th.
well, you were supposed to be here November 13th? And did anyone appear?
No.
No. And one of the first things I do, and you hear me, is like they got service by a signed green card, or they got service, some other people will be posting, and then some other people will be actual service where they've actually talked to you or handed you the thing or something like that. So someone was served, and they did not appear at the first hearing in November, and that's why you're
I
here.
wasn't here because I didn't know that I have to appear. If
Yeah.
they left the letter signed by someone from the building, which is not our office, they didn't deliver it to me.
They are required by Florida state statute to send the notice to the address on the tax collector's roll. That's because they assume that you're paying your taxes, that is a good address for your company. If you have a different address that you want to be served notice with, you need to call the tax collector and have that address changed.
That's not the issue. The address is correct, but the building, there are a lot of offices, and there are some security in there. And if the post office left the certified letter by one security, I didn't receive it.
Fortunately, I've just had to go look at the statute. And
Understand what,
did you post this as well, or no?
No, it was mailed to the tax roll. It was mailed to the same notice that your
Yeah,
order came to.
But I did post a notice violation. As a matter of fact, I met with Miss Veronica and gave it to her personally.
And I just went through this with another municipality. I represent a half a dozen, or I'm the special magistrate for a half a dozen cities. And one of the things they asked me was, how do you serve these things? And I had to tell the chief of police of Clewiston that you have to post it at the property and at City Hall. And there's a line in the statute that says it doesn't even matter if they get it or not. As long as you've done this, that is actual service according to the law. So whether you got it or not is kind of irrelevant according to the law. But they talked to you, they mailed it to you. If someone lost it in the mailroom or someone else got it in a different office, it's still valid notice under Florida statutory law. So,
Person as the current one, right?
okay, what is done is done. How can I fix this? How we can move forward with that?
well, you can move forward by fixing the landscaping and getting a fine reduction, but right now, unless you replace the landscaping with what the original plan was, you're just going to have to go through the process and deal with the fine until you get to a point where you can ask for reduction.
You can either reinstall the landscaping to the current landscape plan, that's an option, or you can do the option that you've said, which is to go through a modification to modify the landscape plan. Those are your options to correct the violation.
Okay,
There's nothing we can do today because we are at the part of the process where it's time for a fine to be issued. Whether that fine is going to be a day or a year, I don't know.
My point was, if she chooses to replace the landscaping, she may stop the fine sooner than going
If
through the
you-
multi-month
If you change it back to the original
process.
landscaping while you're doing this, it may be cheaper than the fine. But that's a business decision that you guys get to make. Okay?
And we ran for 13 days at $50, so it's $650 and continuing.
50 plus continuing is granted.
And a finding that they continue to comply on 2349A6.
Right, which is the grease traps.
Yes.
I have a finding of fact on that one.
Keeping anything in the parking area.
Yep, okay, well, especially grease traps.
Thank you.
And she actually has another case on the bottom of,
Somebody in the middle now.
she's here. Let's just,
Oh, okay.
she's here, so let's just hear it.
All
The
right.
bottom of page 4, 24-0749, 200 Royal Palm Beach Boulevard, Yellowbird International Corp.
Code sections 2349A16, 275, and 2661G1. Fenced structure built in parking area without approval and without permits. I observed this violation on 9/19/24, sent out notice of violation on 9/19/24, and met with Veronica. I sent out notice of hearing on 11/20/24 and received the green card back signed and not dated. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of pictures. Verification of ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures. Exhibit 5, affidavit of compliance.
Okay, and the Exhibit 5, did they remove the fence?
They removed the fence structure, yes.
Okay, so, got it.
Record?
Veronica Espeleta.
Thank you. These are the exhibits that the village would like to enter on this case. Exhibit 1 is the notice of violation, the notice of hearing for tonight's hearing, as well as the signed certified mail.
Okay.
Exhibit 2, that's just a copy of the certified mail. Exhibit 2 is verification of ownership showing who owns the property. Oops, I think Exhibit 1 was a notice of violation, Exhibit 2 was a notice of hearing, Exhibit 3 was verification of ownership. Here's Exhibit 4, which is a photograph.
Okay.
11, 12.
That was removed.
Yep.
Yes.
Next exhibit. Do you have a compliance affidavit?
I don't, but it is removed.
Okay. So
I thought I
the
had it in
testimony is
there.
It's corrected.
All right, thank you.
All right, any objection to the documents? Nope.
No, I brought the pictures from
No,
the.
you're fine.
But
You're good.
if she,
No,
she
said
already make the
she's already
assessment for that.
checked and made sure that it's removed. So this is one where you just get what's called a finding of fact, which means don't put another fence up without a permit.
And thank you for the record, this is a violation hearing. Thank you. Finding of fact is what we're asking for. Thank you.
That one, you either talk to some people and see what you want to do about the first one. You either have to replace the old landscaping while you're going through the process, or you have to take the risk of trying to get a reduction later on.
As she said, it is a process, so
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
a
know how.
multi-month thing, so it may be easier just to put a few plants back in.
Yeah, I will request a building records, a plans from the original landscape to see.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're done?
Yep, you're done.
Thank you, have a good evening.
Please.
We are going to page 4, violation hearings, the case immediately preceding the one we just heard, 24-0929,
Bless you.
11416 Sage Meadow Terrace, Joseph W. and Susan A. Cutroni.
That's me.
Okay, violations, you get time. 3.
Special Magistrate, my name is Andrew Amianti. I'm a code inspector with the Village of Royal Palm Beach. The code section at hand is 23-17, parking on and over the sidewalk. The violation was observed on 11/15/24. The notice of hearing and notice of violation was sent certified mail on 11/19 and returned. I'd like to submit the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1 is the notice of violation and notice of hearing. Exhibit 2 is the verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3 are the pictures.
All right, who are you, sir?
Troni,
Thank you.
Joseph William.
Thank you. These are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1 is the notice of violation, the notice of hearing,
Yes.
for tonight's hearing, the signed certified mail.
Yes.
Exhibit 2 is verification of ownership showing that you own the property. Exhibit 3 is dated photographs of the violation. Any objection to the documents?
No objection.
Thank you.
You're
All right,
welcome.
admitted without objection. So with the Jeep in one picture and the gray thing in another picture, is that our issues, code officer?
Yes, Special Magistrate.
See, I have a real Jeep, which is a 68, and it's about 4 feet shorter, and it would fit in all of these spots, but yours got that four-door minivan thing going, and it's long.
Yeah.
So, all right, so I don't know if you have a physics problem or not.
Well, actually, I've already been in contact with someone who does paving. Before I could widen my driveway to fit 3 cars, I had to remove the tree. And now the paving company needs to grind the stump in order to then expand the driveway on both sides. So I already got a quote this week.
Is your paving company getting a permit?
Yes.
Excellent. That's all we really need to hear is it's going to be a permitted repair, not that you're going to have a different code issue a couple of months down the road.
My biggest problem is my stepdaughter has a car and my wife has a work car, and we have 2 cars. So the numbers don't add up. So now 1 car has definitely got to go into the garage, and the 3 will be 3 wide in the driveway. Because the area where the car is in the picture there is too small to put a car
Unless you have an old
vertically.
68 Jeep, which is like really short.
Yeah.
No, I bought my house in Royal Palm Beach when I was single, and I bought a house with a double wide circular driveway, and I can put like 8 cars in it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a guy. I didn't care about the house. It was like a driveway with a house and a garage. So it worked for me, but other people, yeah, I have 2 daughters now, and yeah, cars and stuff, and I only own 4. All right, so you want this done by when, and he's trying to get permits, so we're going to get him a little more time for when?
We're asking for compliance by January 30th or appearance at the February 12th hearing or $25 a day fine.
And I can guarantee you he's going to need a little bit more time than that, so let's push him into February for the February here.
You just bump the date out 10 days to February 10th?
I'm trying to make sure that he hasn't, if he's going to go to the point of getting a permit, and he's
Well,
come here and asked for that, I want to kind of give him to the next month cycle. So that way he can disappoint me and then I can kill him, or he can, get his stuff done and I can never see him again, both of which are acceptable to me. So what's
It would be 227 or the 312
227,
fine hearing or $25 a day fine.
312, 25. And this was the problem with the last lady. You came in here, you showed some interest, you have a plan, I get to give you more time. This is when I have some power. When it gets to the point of the date's passed, you haven't done it, then they have the power to get their fine order. So you will comply by February 27th, gives you an extra month, or appear at the March 12th hearing. If you have your permit issued, call the code enforcement officer because they don't always talk.
He needs more than just the driveway permit. He also needs a permit to remove the tree that's in the right-of-way.
Yeah, well, you need the vegetative removal permit. That's a no-fee permit. You just have to sign up for it.
Right-of-way, so I'm not sure that that's actually correct.
Part of the required landscape for the community.
Oh, okay. So you might have issues with the tree removal because it may be on a site plan.
It is.
So,
Well, if then I can't widen the driveway, then I will have to put a car perpendicular to the road. So, which is what most people in the community do. They park it in between the sidewalk and the road, perpendicular to the road, so that it's not, the front of the cars are not hanging over the sidewalk like they are pictured in that.
yeah, well, I will give you the opportunity still to apply for it to see if you can get it. But if you can't, then you're going to have to go to phase 2. Okay? Okay, 227, 312, 25 granted.
Thank you. Next, we're going to page 5, a little bit below the midway point, 24-0805, 973 Orchid Drive, Melanie Hiles. I just need the papers. Go ahead.
This would be code section 06.
Hit the button. He turned it off on you.
It's code section 06190A for the structure being stained. I observed the violation on 10/4/24, and I also posted the property. I would like to admit the following items into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing. Also an affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, photos. It's also, yes. And also, Your Honor, it was mailed out, certified mail on 10/4/24.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry for mispronouncing your last
No,
name.
that's okay.
These are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into the record. Exhibit 1 is the affidavit of service for the notice of violation and notice of hearing. We've got the certified mail back, so we posted it
Yep.
to your property. The notice of violation itself, notice of hearing for tonight.
Excuse me.
So I guess just a duplicate copy.
I would say, I only got one. Okay.
Exhibit 2 is verification of ownership showing that you own the property.
I do.
And Exhibit 3 is photographs with the dates they were
Yep.
taken. Any objection to the documents?
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
All right, admitted without objection. What are we talking about here? The light green or the white?
It's a finding of fact. It's a finding of fact. She did clean the roof.
Okay. All right, not a problem. So they said you fixed it, and what you're getting now will be a finding of fact, which means don't do it again. Right?
Got it.
Keep that. And if you keep your structure from being stained for over 5 years, it's no longer a repeat violation. And then you're back to, you can get cited, and they give you more time. So it's all good. They won't remember this, and I won't either. Yahoo! All right, have a good evening. You'll get an order in the mail. All right, next. We
Next.
still have a pile of people here on a 5-page agenda on page 5.
Mitigations now,
Okay,
and we're
that-
going to call them a little bit out of order from the way they are on the agenda, just so they line up with the code officers. So we're going to start with fine mitigation hearing at the bottom of page 6, 24-0287. Country Club Views Homeowners Association, Inc., Country Club Views Homeowners Association, Inc. I must not have had it.
Well, let's go backwards. Yeah.
Are we staying with Country Club Views, or are we
Is it?
moving around?
We seem to have skipped someone, so.
I didn't
I
have
see
her
she's
marked.
here. All right, page 4, 850 Lilac.
All right, sorry, we'll come back to you. Going back to page 4, case 24-0778, 850 Lilac Drive, Dorothy and Alan Crisostomo, I think, sorry if I mispronounced.
All right, tell us who you are.
Yola J. Pierre.
Fabiola J. Pierre. And what
Regular-
is your relation to the property at 850 Lilac?
Is my sister.
Okay, great. Sister.
And regular spelling on your last name?
Pierre.
E-double-R-E.
Got it.
Just the papers. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Your Honor, this, I'd like to admit the following items into evidence. The order finding violation and affidavit. Code section 9-1, description, offense without permit. I observed the original violation on 9/25/24. Certified mail was mailed out on 9/26/24 and returned on 9/30/24. I would now like to admit the following items into evidence. Exhibit 1, the order finding violation. Also affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, a verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, a photo and AS400 info.
Okay.
Okay, we got your name. So these are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into the record. Exhibit 1 is the affidavit of service for the order finding violation. The USPS tracking showing it was delivered. The previous order finding violation. Page 2 of that order.
Yeah, that's one.
Exhibit 2 is verification of ownership showing who owns the property. Exhibit 3 is the village's, I'm sorry, it's this way, the village's permit information. And then finally, a photograph of the violation. Any objection to these documents? No. Okay, thank you.
All right, admitted without objection. Let me see what we have. Service via posting and delivered in Georgia. So double service. And I take it that's
Yeah, put a
the
picture here
newish
now.
looking fence portions. Okay.
There it is. There you go.
Oh, you just messed, there you go. All right,
And this is a fine assessment hearing, so your previous order required compliance by December 26th. Remains out of compliance, so we're asking for a fine of $325 and continuing for December 27th to today.
All right, so you had until December 26th to get the permit for the fence.
So the problem is, my mom's neighbor broke her fence, went into my mom's property, well, where she lives, and she became panicked since there was an original fence in the house. So we replaced the fence because we didn't know that we needed a permit to replace it. And so on December 11th, when my sister called, she sent me the pictures that the city sent to her. Unfortunately, I don't know who signed the paper when it was delivered to the house, but whoever signed it, my sister received it on December 11th. And that same day, I contacted the contractor. He was out of country, and so somehow when I called him on the 12th, he said, I called him on the 11th that same night. He said he will put in the application permit for us. When I checked on Tuesday, on the 12th, he said he puts the permit in. And so we thought everything was fine. And then I kept on coming here to check to see if the permit was secured. And then I was told that they sent the application back to the contractor, making sure that he had everything in order. I kept on calling him, couldn't find him. When I did find him, that was on the 24th, and that's where I am today.
All right, so did he put a permit in or no?
He did.
Need the code
They're
supervisor to
looking
check.
it up right now.
Checked back on the 26th, and it was put in, they said.
Came in on the 12th,
Okay, that part he did.
was pre-screened and sent back on the 16th. On the 31st, the applicant sent it back to us. It went through pre-screen again, and was sent back to the applicant again on the 3rd. They sent it back again on the 5th. It came back here on the 6th. It was sent back to the applicant for payment on the 8th, and then went into review after they paid.
Okay, so she's got a permit in the works. It's just been bounce, but she's been doing it and trying. Okay. So we're going to do a status/fine assessment hearing for next month, and hopefully the permit will be issued by then and it won't be a problem. Okay?
So are you establishing a new compliance date then?
Yeah, let's establish a new compliance date. Give it a few days before the February hearing. When is the February hearing?
The 12th, so the 7th?
2/7, 2/12, or 25? Okay. Your guy actually did it. It's good. He didn't do it right, but he did it. So he got stuff in, he got stuff back. He got stuff in, he got stuff back. He had to pay for it, he paid for it. Now it's going through. Hopefully it'll get done.
On my contractor or the permit?
Everyone's moving along. Right now it's within the village's purview.
You're waiting on the permit. What
So-
can I do on?
No, you don't have to do a thing. It's all left up to the village. I've given you enough time that the village should be able to process the permit well before the hearing date.
But I would recommend you keep checking with your contractor to make sure,
The contractor.
right, make sure that it doesn't get stuck back in the system for more comments or anything like that.
Okay, but yeah, I've given you a little bit of grace here because you're working on it.
Much.
So because you are doing that, hopefully it'll be issued here before February 7th. If it is issued before the 7th of February, talk to the code enforcement officer just to make sure that they know so they can go check their computer and say, yes, it is. And that will take you out of the code enforcement department and put you in the building.
You're going to want to contact your contractor though, because I'm looking at your easement agreement and it's not clear. And we're not going to be able to issue the permit without that being clear.
So check with my contractor.
Yeah, tell him he's going to have to re-upload
We upload, you said? The
Is it
agreement?
just fuzzy, or it's just a horrible copy? Yeah, tell him the copy is too fuzzy for them to read, so he either needs to redo it, or just bring it in.
So he should bring it in? Okay,
Or you can get it from him and bring it in.
I would love to do that.
Smart woman.
Errand process, because,
I don't mind tracking them down.
yeah, no, this is an easy thing, but, it's like, oh,
It's in here again.
is it back?
Yeah, the permit technician told them it's not good, so they brought it in. I got it.
Oh, okay, never mind, they brought it in, so we're just waiting now for Royal Palm again.
I just know they won't record it like that.
Okay. All right, hopefully, just keep on top of everyone. Okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So he doesn't have to bring it in?
No,
You
we're
have
just
it.
waiting for things to be either rejected or issued. There are two choices, okay?
If it is rejected, does that mean the fence comes down?
No, that just means they have to fix whatever caused it to be rejected. It was rejected once for non-payment. Right now, it was rejected for the fuzzy copy.
No, it's in plan review.
So-
So if it gets rejected at this point, they would have to modify the fence.
Okay, so it's being worked on, is all I can say. Okay?
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right.
All right, now we're back to fine mitigation, page 6, bottom of the
mitigations.
page, Country Club.
0287, Country Club Views Homeowners Association, Inc., Country Club Views Homeowners Association, Inc.
All right, please tell us who you are.
My name is Stacy Ryerson, and I'm the president of the Association for Country Club Views.
All right, is that S-T-A-C-Y or E-Y?
EY, last name is RYERSON.
And you're Prez. Okay.
Special Magistrate, I'd like to submit the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1 is the fine mitigation request. Exhibit 2 is the order assessing fine. Exhibit 3 is the verification of ownership, and Exhibit 4 is the affidavit of compliance.
Okay.
And the fine amount in this case, Special Magistrate, is $1,050.
And questions on this side are easy. Why should the fine be reduced?
So we had switched management companies and come to find out that the management company has not been doing what they've said they were supposed to be doing, like changing our address. And the address, they took over January of 2023, and the address did not get changed until after all of this came to light. The previous management company, the person who owned the previous management company had passed away, so there was no forwarding of any emails, documents, financial records. Everything has just kind of stopped with the previous management company. From my knowledge, there was a notice of hearing that was not, the property manager was not aware of. There was a second hearing which he attended, and then after realizing where the ball has kind of dropped, I said, I will be attending the particular hearing. So that's kind of where we're at. I do have documentation that the address has been updated through the property appraiser's site, so that would hopefully alleviate any future situations. Now, if we decide to change management companies, then we're going to need to make sure we update the address again.
Well, if they die again. So, all right, so what is your number? They have 1,000, what is it?
I mean,
50?
ideally, I'm not going to be, I would love 0, but I know that's probably not realistic. But I would be willing to go half.
Yeah, well, half is about what it costs the village to release it anyway, right?
Yeah, we're actually in this one, because the fine amount is what it is, we're opposing reduction just because the actual costs expended up to today, not including today's costs, and the future release costs are more than the fine amount.
All right, so,
And one of the reasons for a fine reduction, our community is extremely small. So, you give us a fine of $1,000, it's going to hit pretty much every house. We're under 60 homes in the community.
well, it's going to hit every house anyway. It's just a question of what the
How much it's going to hit.
ratio is going to be. Yeah. All right, 500 by when?
310.
Did you say 500, sir?
Yes, I did.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And just For my knowledge, that invoice is going to be sent to whom, so I can make sure it is paid on time?
So it won't be an invoice, it'll be an order mitigating the fine, so it'll be an order that, like the ones you've received in the past, but it'll go where all the prior orders have gone.
Can I make sure that the address you have currently is the accurate address?
You can, but you might just want to give Andrew your email address, and we can probably get you a copy via email.
Perfect. Can I do that right now?
Yep.
Okay.
Sign these things until,
Okay, so go in that room right there and give my address, my email? Yes. Okay, if there's some different way that would be more conductive, more conducive for your time. Thank you.
I'll figure it out. You're welcome.
Okay, perfect. I didn't want to, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, now we're going to page 7, middle of the page, 21-0388-1398 Thornbank Lane, U.S. Bank Trust, N.A. trustee.
Special Magistrate, I'd like to submit the following documents as evidence. Exhibit 1 is a fine mitigation request. Exhibit 2 is an order assessing fine. Exhibit 3 is the verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4 is an affidavit of compliance.
All right, tell us who you are.
Angela Niebel with Nautica Realty, representing U.S. Bank.
Okay, and
Can you spell your last name?
Niebel.
Thank you.
it's all over the authorizations too. So, just so you know. And the magic question, why should the fine be reduced? Because this,
Sorry to interrupt. Before you proceed, the fine amount is $29,292.
how much?
$29,292.
29,292. Strange amount, but okay.
Well, we received the property for managing and marketing on August 5th of 2024, and immediately I reached out to Andrew and found out what all we needed to do, and took a little time to get that done. But prior to that, I don't know. This property was in a rental program, and I don't know the correspondence between the rental program and U.S. Bank, so I don't know why it was not resolved years ago.
Sometimes they let things slip.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
what is your number, if any? What do you want to pay if you have to?
Oh, clerical cost.
Oh, okay.
No, whatever you guys can do.
Unrealistic response.
Yeah, no.
Do we want a
And
realistic one before I hear their number?
No,
and
in
go-
other municipalities, they go down to like 10%.
All right, so you're saying $2,929.20. That's 10%. Okay. And what does the village say?
Proposing reduction in this matter, but we would be amenable to reducing the fine to $6,604.04 payable by 3/10. Because again, this is a property that, as you hear me say at every hearing, the village residents have to deal with the fact that these rental properties are not being cared for. So although it's somebody dropped the ball, the people who live next to the house have to deal with it.
Yep.
No longer in the rental program, it's for sale, going to be for sale now, just so you know.
That's
not
much
renting it
better
out.
for you. All right, I will accept the village's number of $6,604.04 payable by 3 something or other?
10,
3/10.
60 days approximately.
Okay.
So 6604 even?
No, 6604.04 because they're very picky,
Okay.
by 3/10. And you'll get an order in the mail, or someone will at a mail drop office somewhere else. You may want to go give somebody else your email information so you get a copy and can follow up on this.
My information, I believe, or I can reach out to you.
Yeah. Reach out to them and make sure you get a copy of this so it doesn't get lost in the mail room.
Yep. No,
You
I
pay it
will.
on 3/11 and it goes back to 29,000. So, okay.
In the case
Okay, great.
file, so.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You.
All right, next we're going to the last case on page 7. It's 24-0474, 819 Royal Palm Beach Boulevard, Margarita I. McPherson.
Special Magistrate, I'd like to submit the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1 is the fine mitigation request. Exhibit 2 is the order assessing fine. Exhibit 3 is the verification of ownership, and Exhibit 4 is the affidavit of compliance.
Okay.
And Special Magistrate, the fine in this case is $1,950.
Tell us who you are, your name,
Rita McPherson.
okay, and why should the fine be reduced? Why should it be less? Why should the fine be reduced?
The reason why I think it shouldn't, because it was raining. It was like the hurricane. We had the hurricane at the time, and the weather prevent me to put it down, so that's why it was not put down. The
And by
weather
put
was
down, you mean the sod? You were talking about the sod, I think?
Yeah, and then every time we're supposed to go down, it couldn't go down because of the rain. So the rain prevent me from doing what I'm supposed to do. And then when the rain stopped and the weather got back to south, then it was put down. But then when it was put down, I forgot to call Andrew, the code enforcement, to let them know that it was already down. So it was the weather, because it was like the hurricane at that time that prevent me from not putting it down.
You also had a vehicle issue?
Yeah, that was already taken care of.
that for
So
us.
it basically was the grass.
All right, and the village is saying,
We're not opposing reduction. I can give you the village's number. It's 1213.72, payable by 310.
all right, because Ms. McPherson has been here on a number of occasions and she has gone to lengths to try to get all these things resolved, I'm going to reduce the $2,000-ish fine to $500 by 310. If you pay that, you're good.
How much, sorry?
500 by
500?
March 10th. And that's basically the costs of the village's attorneys and others getting this fine taken off of your property. So I'm not going to let them go into a hole for that. So 500 by March 10th, we'll do it.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we're going back to the first fine mitigation hearing, 23-1093-1001 North State Road 7, Base Kane Friendly LLC.
Tell us who you are, sir.
With Dirty Dogs Car Wash, we were under a lease with Biscayne Friendly. We were going to develop a car wash at this site.
Your last name?
It's W-A-U-G-H.
Okay, and you were the lessee. All right.
If we could, Special Magistrate, if we could have the code officer get her evidence in.
I'm not that tall. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence to go to him. Pardon me. Exhibit 1, assessing fine mitigation. Exhibit 2, order assessing fine. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, affidavit of compliance.
What's the amount of the fine?
$1,300.
Nice even amount. Okay. All right, Mr. Wall, why should the fine be reduced?
And forgiveness, Your Honor, because this site has been ongoing for about a year and a half under permitting, and we spent over 6 figures trying to get it into permitting. And by the time it did, the site is no longer viable to build for us as a pro forma. We have now released the lease back to the owner. So this is kind of the last part of our agreement to get settled. We'd be happy with a $1,200 to $1,500 fine. If we could make that happen, that would be a.
Let me ask you before you continue, sir. You're the lessee. Did the property owner authorize you to be here tonight? Because we don't have any documentation.
He's in surgery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you provide documentation to the village of that?
He just had me come down yesterday. I flew down this morning from Atlanta.
Okay.
I'll accept that he's authorized.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt you, sir.
No worries. Thank you.
1,500. All right, what's the village at?
We're not opposing reduction in this case. We'd be willing to reduce it to $2,072.12, payable by 310.
All right, why don't we just flatten it out to 2,000 and
That's agreeable, sir.
by 310? And that $72 will go away.
Mr. Magistrate, if I could ask you to, in your order, require him to provide authorization to the village. The problem is they only get one opportunity to reduce or mitigate fines. So if you can provide to the village consent from the property owner.
Any kind of consent you need from the property owner so that
The special magistrate's okay with the order requiring him to provide that.
at all, I will write.
Should I provide that too?
I'll put the email address in the order.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
I'll need consent.
I don't believe you. I just want to make sure because we only
Understand
allow people to come to these hearings one time. Just
If
so
the
we.
owner says, I really didn't let him go there and now I can't reduce the fine.
Down this morning from Atlanta to be here.
Yeah, that's it, but lawyers are real picky. It's a Don Henley song, while lawyers dwell on small details. Yeah, that's what we do. All right, thank you very much. There'll be an order entered sometime next week.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Next, we're going to the first on top of page 7, 22-1475, 10553 Bobby Lane, Carmen V. Parisi.
Following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, order mitigating fine request. Exhibit 2, order assessing fine. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, affidavit of compliance.
Okay. Tell us who you are, please.
Bill Cragen,
Can you spell your
that
last name?
C-R-A-G-U-N.
Okay, and what is your relation to the property, sir, or the
I'm
property?
the ex-husband of the respondent.
Okay.
And your name?
Yes, Carrie Cragen Atchison.
All right, you're going to spell all those.
Ready? You want me to?
Yes, please.
Okay. C-R-A-G-U-N hyphen A-T-C-H-I-S-O-N, and I am Carmen's daughter and her power of attorney.
Okay. Daughter.
And the fine amount, special magistrate, in this case is $16,750.
Okay. Why should the fine be reduced?
The reason why we're asking the fine to be reduced is the same reason the fine grew from $325 and $25 a day since the inception of the fine in 2023. And the reason why it grew is because the respondent, my ex-wife, Carrie's mother, has dementia. She is neither intellectually able to understand and certainly not able to respond to a process like this. None of us knew that there were 2 code violations. None of us knew that the fine was running from 2023 until this July, when I got a call from her current husband, who also has dementia, that she was in her room, the door was locked, she couldn't get out, she was not responding. So I called the locksmith. They came and they took the doorknobs off to get into her. We called the paramedics. They rushed her to Palms West, and she was there for 4 or 5 days with all sorts of stuff, and we got the diagnosis of dementia. Still didn't know about the code violations, still didn't know about the repeating fine, but we felt that because of her condition that we needed to move her up to my other daughter in Gainesville, who could be close to her and take care of her. So in order to do that, we had to sell the house on Bobby Lane to have the money to buy the townhouse they found in Gainesville. So we went to that process. Jumping ahead to November of 2024, on November 22nd of this year, my real estate agent, who was handling the sale of the Bobby Lane house, said, Bill, there's a lien on the house from the Village of Royal Palm Beach. Found out in November this year. And then on Monday, he told me there's 2 code violations. There's staining on the walls of the house, and there's a truck parked in the swale. That's when I first found out about it, November 25th. So I contacted the good folks here, talked to Shirlene and talked to Diane in the office, and they got me to Margaret, and I found out what the problem was on Monday the 25th. And by November the 27th, 2 days later, Margaret came by, checked it out, proved that what I had done. I had taken the stains off. I had towed the truck. It's now parked at my place. Margaret said I needed to replace the sod underneath the truck, so I went to Lowe's and I laid the sod. I know how to do that. And she approved it, and we got the affidavit of compliance and the municipal certificate saying that the fine, which was $325 back in 2023, unbeknownst to us, had been stopped at $16,750. So needless to say, this all came as a shock. It was never nice, pleasant to find out your relative has dementia, and it caused a big number of complications. So the fines at that. And so the problem was that in the sale of the Bobby house, the what do you call them? The title people put the $16,750 into escrow. Margaret helped us with that, which is fine, except that $16,750 was a big part of the parcel for the payment of the townhouse, which they ended up buying. So I wrote a check to cover the amount that was missing because of the fine. So we're here today respectfully to ask what can be done about helping this woman with dementia who's been running this fine up since 2023. So.
And I have, if it helps, I have documentation from her neurologist with the diagnosis of dementia.
I don't think, especially for HIPAA, but your testimony is sufficient. The village doesn't need any documentation, but I appreciate that you offered that. Your testimony is sufficient for the village.
Okay, my question is, so you got a daughter in Gainesville. What are you doing here in the Florida State shirt?
Well, listen, both my daughters graduated from UF. So I'm a big UF fan. However, I've been in Florida a while now, and I was a big fan of Bobby Bowden. He was my guy. So if I can wear an FSU shirt, that's okay with me too.
He wears all sorts of shirts.
My Gators
That's okay, because my older daughter is a graduate, my younger daughter is a junior there, so I'm just sort of curious as to the Gainesville/Florida State connection. So obviously, Florida State's better than the University of Florida, isn't it, Counselor?
Oh.
Because they're both. See, we're doing tweaks back and forth. All right, so what would you propose as a proper amount for this?
Well, what I would propose is that the original $325 fine plus the 6 days it took me, once I knew there was a code violation, to take care of it at $25 a day was $150, would be a total of $475, but plus any fees, the normal customary fees that you folks need for the hearing.
Okay, that's
whatever
kind
that amounts
of in
to.
my wheelhouse. And the village's number is?
Our requested number was 413166.
Okay. Given the circumstances surrounding the capacity of the respondent and the offer of the respondent's ex-spouse and daughter, we'll take the $475 and add another $525 for the fees, because it does cost them attorney's fees and recording costs to remove these items. So $1,000 by 310.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. It's a high bar for the rest of you people.
Is the next one down, 24-0135, 266 La Mancha Avenue, Lyndon V. and Shelley Mitchell.
I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, fine mitigation request
Are you on
form.
fine reduction or
Excuse
no?
me. Exhibit 2, order assessing fine. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, affidavit of compliance.
You are?
My name is Hong Nguyen. Nguyen.
And the first name?
Hoang.
Okay. And your relation to 266
Oh, yes, I just bought the house and I didn't know they have the lien on the house.
You didn't know they had a lien. All right.
Record, he had requested 2 additional cases to be mitigated, but they were previously mitigated, so you are not able to mitigate those cases.
And were they previously mitigated and not paid, or they previously mitigated and paid? We don't know.
Unpaid.
Previously
They were mitigated, and at the mitigation hearing, we actually denied the mitigation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we only have the one.
And the fine amount in this case is $2,775.
All right. So why should the fine be reduced?
Because when I bought the house, I have no idea they have
That's
these,
why they have
but,
title searches, and you can go to the public offices and find out if there are any liens.
Did you buy it at auction? Yes. Yeah, that's,
Yeah, you buy your ticket. Yeah, this is one of those, you buy a ticket and you take your chance. And, thank God it's not one of those $90,000 liens that I've seen on some of these properties. But, I mean, at least 1,000 of this is just costs. Probably more than that.
In this matter, Special Magistrate, there are many, many more costs
Actually,
because the village defended the foreclosure action.
Yeah.
So it's much higher than that.
Defend the foreclosure action to keep your lien viable and all those other things. Yeah. Now, this is a lesson that if you're going to go buy these things, you better get a quickie title search or you're just going to have to deal with it. So this one's going to be denied. Okay. Sorry, there's nothing I can do with you. Fortunately, it's a small amount. Most of this I would have had to the village anyway, just for their costs. And now that I've started to think about Shelley Mitchell, this is one of a number of Shelley Mitchell cases that has run through the village that has been before me. And it's just, I think they should be grateful that you bought it because it's not going to be a problem anymore. But Ms. Mitchell caused a lot of code enforcement actions to be taken, and this is just what's going to happen with this one. So denied on this.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you, sir. The next case is second from the bottom, 24-0089, 229 Park Road North, Fortuna J. Potsdam, Fortuna J. Potsdam trustee, Fortuna J. Potsdam trust title holder.
I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, fine mitigation request. Exhibit 2, order assessing fine. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, affidavit of compliance.
Hello, sir. So my name is Stephanie Wunderlich. This is my mother, Fortuna Potsdam.
Stop there, Steph.
Wunderlich. Wunderlich.
Only because I knew a guy in high school with the same name. Okay, and you are daughter?
Daughter, yeah. This is Fortuna Potsdam. She's the owner of the residence.
Okay, great. That one I just have to circle. I don't have to worry about it.
The fine amount, Special Magistrate, is $3,300.
All right. And there's that stuff you want to read in or put in or?
Already did.
Oh, you did? Okay. Oh, it's right over here. All right. You've seen these now.
We've seen a few.
You should be a pro.
We've seen a few. Basically, we're here, sir, to ask for this has been almost a 2-year process of finding an insurance company because they did not follow through, and because they didn't follow through with minor repairs, it escalated into it literally raining in the rooms. We had to have tarps, we had to come out with cubics. Year and a half later, long story short, we did settle with the insurance company, but we're so far behind. That we're just, my mom's been in and out of the hospital multiple times. She's very ill, she's had multiple surgeries, it just goes on and on and on. And quite honestly, we did make it to the first mitigation hearing, but the second mitigation hearing, we did not make it. There was just a mishap. She gets a lot of mail. She just, was not aware of things. We had the tarp on there for so long because we kept waiting and waiting with the insurance company. We had mold, we had ruined, everything in the attic is ruined. The 2 bedrooms are filled up with furniture and debris from the attic, and everything's been ruined as it is. We now have 2 still gaping, very large holes, one in one bedroom, one in the garage. 6 by 2.5. But we did just get our tile today. They have started moving forward, and the tarp has been removed. Are fine, so we're just asking for some.
Okay.
The roof is so expensive. That's just like a sandwich, but it's 2 feet.
You are in the hot seat, Special Magistrate. We are leaving this one to you.
It's been very difficult, and we do have an attorney, but he politely informed us that says,
Yeah, they were at the first violation hearing. Special Magistrate, they were at the first violation hearing. The second hearing, nobody showed up, and you even commented that you were surprised that they weren't here.
Okay. 500 by 310. That was quick, huh? $500 by 310. You're good. Order in the mail. Why are all these strays in the back? They're lates. Okay, we'll do the lates. A lot less stressful on my psyche. The lates. You're welcome. All right, we're trying to figure out why y'all are here, so hang out for a minute. So I love Florida winter. She cranked out her riding boots because this is like the one day she can wear them a year.
Oh, good one. I didn't see it. Sorry. Is he on the agenda?
Wants to be heard tonight.
Is there service?
Well, we got service on it yesterday, so we were trying to give them more time.
They want to be here. Whatever.
Do it.
So we have 10972 Grandview,
Okay.
10711 Bobby,
Over. Okay.
269 Saratoga,
Okay.
and then Hail Costa. So if they're stipulating to be heard, we're going to get an order on it then, right? With compliance.
We'll have the order. The
If
order will
that's what
specify
they're
that they're doing that, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
You guys want to come back and find out?
We're going back to page 1, fine assessment hearings.
Now I can tell Linda, no thank you for page 1.
Only one on page 1.
Well, 1 is still 1. Which one?
So it's the one on the bottom, 24-0794, 10972 Grandview Way, Dorian D. Ingram and Virgil Ednard.
(10972) Granville, come on down. We'll get you up here when they find a code officer for you.
Good evening, Your Honor.
All right, we'll just hang out for a minute. I got to find your file.
We can get her name. What's your name, ma'am?
Ednard Virgil.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, we have it backwards, so we'll fix that. Sorry about that.
Okay.
We just need a code officer. Give us a moment. Yep. This is 109. Yep.
Special Magistrate would like to submit the following documents into evidence. The order finding violation is Exhibit 1. Exhibit 2 is the verification of ownership. Exhibit 3 are the pictures, and Exhibit 4 is the AS400 permit information.
Thank you. These are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into the record. Exhibit 1 is the affidavit of service for the previous order finding violation. Page 2 of that order. Exhibit 2 is verification of ownership showing that you own the property. And Exhibit 3 is dated photographs of the violation. Exhibit 4 is the village's permit information. Any objection to these documents?
I didn't bring any of them.
No, do you have any objection to these being entered into the record?
No.
Okay.
All right, admitted without objection. How do we have service here? Posting, I assume. All right, we have service via posting, so you can proceed. All right, so we have, what do we have here, Code Officer? We have a pool. I don't have the right picture up there, so now I have it in my hand.
Here we go. Sorry, Special Magistrate.
All right.
We have a pool and a pergola / tiki hut without a permit.
Okay.
And it was there yesterday, and as of today's permit check, there's no permit in the system.
Okay.
Assessment hearing. So your previous order required compliance by 12/26. We're asking for a 13-day fine at $50, excuse me. So that's $650 and continuing.
All right, ma'am. So you need a permit for these things, right?
Your Honor, about the pool, I didn't know that I needed a permit. I bought it at Big Lots. It's a plastic pool. So it didn't say nothing on the box, and I'm very new to all this. And when I talked to Andrew, he said that I needed a permit, but he said in the meantime I need to secure around the pool, and so I went ahead and did it. And I talked to him, and the next day I came here to pull out the informations for to pull out the permit. And so I talked to the other lady that was there, and she provided the information to pull out the permit. And at that time, there was this company that I talked to do the fence. Reason why, because we like family, we have like a relationship that they were gonna give us something cheaper, whether to go to any other company. But the way that they set up their company is that they work up north during winter time. They don't stay here around that time, and it was right before the hurricane that just passed, and so I missed out on that because the time that we were supposed to do that was around that same time, and the hurricane came, and we couldn't do anything, and then by the time it was already over, he left for up north. And I really didn't know that I needed a permit for that, considering that it was a plastic pool. As far as the pergola, I knew nothing about this until 3 hours ago or 5 hours ago when Andrew told me that over the phone. I knew nothing. I really wanted to get rid of it anyways. It wasn't a pergola really, it's just a 4 poles. We bought the house with the structure, and we just like added 4 poles, and they're wood poles, like small little wood poles that we bought at Home Depot. So it's really nothing, and it's nothing on the top. It's just the poles that I used, and I was gonna wrap around sheets, like clear sheets, to make it look nice. But it's nothing that's structured to it. I knew nothing about this pergola thing until literally like 4 hours ago when Andrew called me.
Okay, well, we've got 2 issues here, and one's the easy one. It's just a Sawzall or a chainsaw, and those 4 poles are gone.
Right, that's no problem.
That's the
I
easy
told him that I'm doing it, and
The other problem is the pool, and the pool needs to be permitted, and the problem you're having right now is it's a $50 a day fine, but it's going to run until you either get that pool permitted or you remove it.
I mentioned.
It's probably cheaper for you just to take it down, have Andrew come by to inspect that it's no longer up and that the poles are down so he can stop the fine, and then we can deal with some sort of reduction request. But the way you're leaving it right now, you're going to get your $650 fine, but it's just going to keep building and building and building, and you want to stop it, just so it's not a bigger problem than it can be. Okay?
Right. And I will take care of it this weekend. Like I said, it's cold anyway. So
It's too cold to play in the pool.
Yeah,
anyway.
I said that to Andrew.
And if you have the pool down and you store it somewhere where you can put it back up, then you can get your permit and you can put it up like you want to. But right now, it's just going to be a fine, and it's just going to be a problem. And I forgot this part of the speech that I normally do. It's like I've seen people go home and fix these things after my meeting. I mean, literally on the way home. But it doesn't count unless you call the code officer to have them come by and verify. As you saw, the one lady said she did it, but she forgot to call Andrew. Well, the second you get those things chopped down or taken down, give them a call so we can come by and stop the fine.
And I've been trying to comply. That's why I went around and bought the gate and put around it, at least child safety gate, until I could get that. I understand that's my fault.
A couple of dozen kids a year drowned in Florida, so it is a serious thing to have a pool that's exposed like that. And it just, and you know, it could be one of your relatives or yours. It's just a time bomb there waiting to happen. So right now, all I can do is issue a fine. But if you can get it stopped, please do so because it's in your best interest.
I literally will this
Yeah, if you
week.
can get it cut down and removed and drained, call Andrew and he'll be happy to run over there and make sure that you get your affidavit of compliance and we stop this stuff. And then we'll talk about reducing things. Okay?
Yes.
So 650 plus continuing is granted because that's all I can do.
Thank you.
And are we talking about the what thing? Are we adjusting the bus? That's, are we,
Oh, she has,
no?
that's a separate case. That's not on tonight's agenda. She has another case.
The bus is already, that was here with a different code officer. It's receiving a fine daily. So you definitely want to get that removed off the property.
Yeah, if you have a fine running on a bus. you
Hearing
need to
for
get-
that?
It already went to hearing.
No, because they can.
To the other code officer.
No, because the time that we had the hearing, it was canceled due to the hurricane, because we had it, remember, Andrew? We had the hearing, I think, 2 days before the hurricane, and they got.
Ma'am, Miss Foley, Officer Foley took that case to hearing, and she's been retired since February. So it was heard quite some time ago.
So, yeah, if you've got another fine there for a bus, you better get rid of the bus too. Because
So what, I mean, if she retired, what do I do?
That's not, we shouldn't be discussing that. That's not on tonight's agenda. So call code enforcement tomorrow, and you can ask them those questions, but that case is not on tonight's agenda.
Okay.
Okay? So call code in the morning, and somebody can help you.
All right, next, please.
This is top of page, let me make sure. Top of page 3, right? That's what you are. Yep, 24-0698, 10711 Bobby Lane, Jasmeet and Thama and Lou Fate Frere Petit.
Documents into evidence, Exhibit 1, order finding violation, Exhibit 2, verification ownership, Exhibit 3, pictures, Exhibit 4, AS4 under permit information.
Your name, ma'am?
Jasmine Petit Frere.
These are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into the record. Exhibit 1 is the order finding violation with the signed certified mail. The second page of the order. Exhibit 2 is verification of ownership showing that you own the property. Exhibit 3 is photographs, dated photographs of the violation. Yep. And then Exhibit 4 is the village's permit information. Any objection to these documents?
No.
I admitted without objection. All right, signed green card is service. What is the work done without a permit? Fence?
And you can see in the photo towards the back of the house, it was just a porch. They enclosed it with walls
Oh, okay.
to get it permitted, but it's still in plan check.
Okay, well, at least they're trying.
No.
They're trying.
And this is a fine assessment. Your prior order required compliance by 12/26, so we're asking for a $325 and continuing fine.
All right, so where we are in the process right now, I'm supposed to enter a fine order. It's just because you haven't gotten it fixed by the date in the notice of or the order finding violation. So you need to go finish your permit and then come apply for a reduction. Hopefully, your permit will be issued shortly and it will stop things, but I have no control over that.
My honor, it's just like something, we just get to it and we never know anything. And we work days, we call, I think now Mrs. Margaret tired with us because we call her every time, because each time we just fill out the application and then something missing and we never receive any update until like weeks after. And you know, it's my dad and my mom living there, then they does not speak English. It's the reason every time we walk in, we call Miss Margaret to say, okay, it's us. It's like somebody will try to help us. Okay, what missing? Every time we just do it and something missing. And we call her and they said to update this, update that. We already pay the fee on it. Now we just like back and forth, and it's like something, the porch, it's already there. It was covered and everything. We just make it nice. We didn't know if we need permit for it. It's just like my dad doing it. And we didn't know because everything was covered and it was circle. We just like make it nice for the kids to play. That's it.
Well, it needed a permit and it still needs a permit.
Yes.
It's a porch, not a room. It's probably got other things in it that require inspections like electric and things, so it's a problem.
Everything. We did everything. It's just like.
Now, everything means you have to get the permit done.
Everything we're working on it.
And
The application was submitted in June.
the application was submitted in June, and they keep bouncing back, and you may need some help to have someone get you through this process, but it's not their fault that you're not getting through the process because you're not submitting everything you need to submit.
Fill that application and then we sent it back, and
And they kicked it back because
they
they
said
needed something else.
They
and
said,
you had to
okay,
do
we
it, and
didn't
then you
check
needed
this, we
something
didn't check
else.
that. And then we called Miss Margaret to just like say, okay, what missing? And every time, it just, the process, every time when they send it back to us, we never receive it. It's like 3 or 4 weeks after, and,
Wow.
it's not.
I have no idea how the permitting process works. I assume they email you, but I don't know.
Yeah, Miss Margaret here, and she knows we call her like every time we call her. She's here, she can testify of that.
So I'm looking at it right now. It's been with the village for a total, since you started, 20 days. It's been with the applicant for 125 days. So it's been in for 145 days that you've been working on it, but the village every time has reviewed it. Like it came to us on 8/5, it was sent back on 8/9.
4 days later.
Yeah.
Do they say why?
10/14, it was sent back on 10/21.
So I know they've been working on it, but I keep explaining to her, I said, make sure if you don't hear nothing within a couple days, call and ask them what's going on with it.
I'm looking at it,
Yeah,
Margaret.
I know.
It took Charlene 2 days. It took Charlene 3 days.
So it's been on, it was written back in August of '24.
For months and months, and someone,
What's sitting with you right now?
When did it go back to them?
12/31.
It's yesterday we know about the thing. We didn't know anything. This morning we know about that. We didn't know anything.
But what she's saying is that it was emailed back to you on December 31st. So 9 days ago, you got another email from the village saying that something was wrong.
You need to fix something else.
Right.
And you need to go if you're not doing this and you cannot figure out how to fix it, you need to find someone who can fix it for you.
Okay.
Or you need to come into the office and say, I'm here, what do I need to have? And come back to the office and do it again.
You're
To
asking
Mrs.
for
Margaret.
engineer drawings. Because you've enclosed it, you need an engineer drawing,
So yeah, you need to have hired an engineer who will put his stamp on a set of plans to show that this is a viably constructed according to South Florida Building Code type structure. And do you have an engineer?
We did the entire things.
No, do you have an engineer? Did you hire an engineer who provided you with a structural plan and report?
No, because it's us who was doing it.
So that's what I'm saying. You had to hire an engineer. You haven't done it. They're not going to touch this thing until they get an engineering or architectural report, right? So you're the one who's stopping this because you haven't figured out how to do it, and you haven't hired the right people to get the stuff you need. It's not their fault. You need to hire a structural engineer to certify that what you did will pass code and meet wind loads and all those things, and they will not do it until they're hired and they go inspect these things. And if you haven't hired a guy, it's not going to be permitted. It's just going to sit here and run up more fines, and you're just going to say, well, you need to hire an engineer to get this thing going. Or you need to remove all of this and start over, which is probably cheaper in the long run because God only knows what you got underneath that stuff. So all I can do right here is 325 plus continuing is granted because we are at the point in this process where the permit should have been closed or at least fully applied. And if you aren't going to hire a structural engineer, which is going to cost you thousands probably,
Not sure the total,
but
I'm
it's
not sure.
going to be whatever it is, you're just going to keep getting fined and you're just going to be in a loop. So either going to spend the money hiring the people to look at it, or you're going to spend some money to rip it down and start over like you're supposed to by getting an actual permit before you start. But either way, I'm here and the only thing I can do is issue the fine of $325 plus continuing. That's all I can do because you are not through the process. It's $325 today. It's $25 every day until it gets fixed. If you aren't going to hire an engineer, you need to tear it down and then call for an inspection to show that it's been removed. or you need to finish the permit by getting an engineer to do this. And I can tell you right now, this is a tiny little thing that no one's going to want to touch.
Okay.
Okay? But you're just stuck in this loop, and you need to get yourself out of it by either finding an engineer and finishing out the process, or by removing the things that are there and putting it back to a patio. So 325 plus continuing granted. That's all I can do.
Page 4, the second case down, 24-0787-269 Saratoga Boulevard East. MD Mizanur Rahman and Nazmoon Nahar.
Good evening, sir.
Okay.
Good evening.
And
My
your
name is MD Rahman.
And I'm the Nazmun Nahar.
Okay, thank you.
You just set them down, that's good, thank you. You go ahead with your testimony, I'll do that.
This is the final assessment. I would like to, code section would be 06190A. The structure was stained. I would like to admit the following items into evidence. Exhibit 1, an order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, picture.
Exhibits that the village would like to enter into the record. Exhibit 1 is the previous order finding violation
Yes.
with the signed certified mail.
Yes.
Page 2 of the order.
Is his name?
Exhibit 2 is verification of ownership showing that you own the property.
Yes.
And Exhibit 3 is a photograph of the violation. Any objection to the documents?
I did already everything, but I don't know how you bring a documents. That's what I know bring a.
No, you don't need to bring them. Any objection to me giving these to the magistrate?
No, no.
Okay.
All right, admitted without objection. You have a green card there. Signed green card equals service. All right, code officer, where's the staining that I can
As
see?
you can see on the corner where the shade is, at the bottom there's staining.
Right, I can see down there on the ground level.
Some above the garage.
I can see that too. Okay.
Still we have some.
This is another fine assessment hearing. It's been out of compliance for 13 days, so we're asking for 325 and continuing.
All right, so they're saying your structure's stained.
Yes, sir.
And I can see stains on it.
Yes, sir.
So you need to clean it, or you need to
I
paint it?
did clean it January 4th. January 4th we did clean in my house. Almost I
Pictures from yesterday.
yesterday, but I did January 4. Almost I pay my pocket almost $1,000.
Well, I don't know if it was
I pay January 4th. I pay almost $1,000. I pay.
$1,000, but they didn't do a good job because there's still obvious stains in that picture. Go back to the picture. Oh, it's up there. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the ground along there in the shade, there's stains there. They're still there. You paid someone $1,000 to clean it or paint it?
I tell somebody, I told the weather homeowner association, Mr. Max, I told him, he called somebody, and he do for me.
Well, they didn't do a good job for you because I still see stains there.
Oh, I'm not, because I have no idea, because there's a past my house, but anything, have no idea, but I don't know, not too many people. That's why I call somebody, they help me out. But they ask for money, how much, I pay them my money, I pay them my pocket, and they do. But I don't know exactly what they're doing.
Picture is from yesterday.
Yes.
Whatever you paid didn't work because there's still stains on the building.
Oh my God, I'm sorry for that.
Well, no, and it's not an excuse that you paid money to someone who didn't do a good job, because you could have told them you did crap and I'm not paying you, or you could get someone else to do this. But, I'm looking at a picture from yesterday showing staining in 2 areas, and they're still there. So what am I supposed to do? I'm not getting you your $1,000 back. They did a bad job.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And now you're going to get a fine, and you need to clean it up so this fine will stop. And I don't want to do this, but that's what I have to do because we are at the point of the process where you either are in compliance or you get fined. And I appreciate that you tried, but you were unsuccessful. I mean, there's only 2 small areas there.
Oh, my God.
They need to be fixed or
I give it to them, technician, they give a letter, the hotter they said, you have to do, please. They told me, yes, we can do. That's what they told me amount, I just pay my pocket, that's what they do.
Well, I'm telling you again,
But I have no.
you paid money and it was a bad job and you're still in trouble.
Yeah, they do bad
Okay,
job.
and that's not the village's fault. The village is just calling balls and strikes, and they walked by and they said, still stained. And as of today, it's still stained, and all I can do now is enter a fine. And the fine will stop when it's not stained, so you need to find someone who can either fix it or match the paint and paint it, at least in those areas, so the stains aren't showing through. 325 plus continuing is granted. I mean, it's still there. I can't ignore my eyes. Still there in the picture, right? You can see it, right? Over the garage, you see the dark spots on that picture?
Right on the windows.
And then down at the bottom by the grass on that big wall?
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
You paid.
I got it. I have no idea because I'm the new owner, you know? That's the problem.
You look at it, it's still stained. What am I supposed to say? No, it's not? I can look at the picture. All I can see is that. I didn't even have to guess.
I need to send a new letter, and I find somebody, new people, then we can fix it. I need to, what I need to, please, I have old one, you sending fast one, I am losing, but you give me a new letter, what I need to do,
You
then
don't get a new letter. You fix the stains and you call for an okay? I don't need to hear you paid $1,000 for the 5th time. I don't need that. You need to find someone who can fix this. And then when it's fixed, you call the code enforcement officer and they'll do an inspection. So the 325 plus continuing is granted.
Thank you. Next, we're going to a violation hearing on
All right, we're done. Thank you.
Page 5. It's case 24-0719, 853 Hibiscus Drive, Yalen.
I want to do 109K Acosta first. They're going to be last because it's.
Oh, I don't know that.
No, you're next. You're next. Come on. You're next.
All right, sorry, going back down to bottom of page 5, it's also a violation hearing, 24-0902, 109 Cayo Acosta Court, Linda R. Cardy.
Okay.
She's here.
Were you sworn in? Were you sworn in? Did you say I do and raise your right hand and do all that stuff? No, she doesn't. How about the rest of them in the back? Were you guys sworn in? All right, all of you, please raise your right hand. Say I do when we're done. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
Everyone's re-sworn or newly sworn. All right, let's deal with 109 Cayo Acosta Court.
The code section would be 622 and 108.4. The description of commencing work without a permit. I observed the violation on 11/7/24. Certified mail. The notice was mailed out certified mail on 11/7/24, and the property was also posted. I would like to admit the following items into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing, and affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, photos.
Okay.
Linda Rose Cardy.
Thank you. These are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into the record. Exhibit 1 is the affidavit of service for the notice of violation and notice of hearing. The certified mail came back to the village. This is the notice of hearing. Excuse me, that's the notice of violation. This is the notice of hearing. Exhibit 2 is verification of ownership showing that you own the property. And Exhibit 3 is photographs, dated photographs of the violation. Any objection to these documents being entered?
No.
Thank you.
All right, service via posting is good service. What is the nature of this violation?
Well, with the violation, As you can see, they put in a new, well, she put in a new window without the permit, because with all those homes on that particular block, I forgot the name of the glass, but on that particular side of the home, all those homes have that particular glass in. So when you ride down the block, her home is the only one without that glass. We received a complaint first, and that's when I went out. And also on the back, I guess the patio area, there's a covering on top of that patio. It looks like a tin type of material.
Corrugated or something like that.
Just put on top, and of course, if there's a hurricane or anything,
Flying.
that can become a hazard, flying everywhere, so yes.
Okay. All right, so, Ms. Cardy, did you get the window installed by a contractor who permitted it?
Installed by a contractor. I called the HOA, and they told me if the window that I'm putting in, because it was blocks and it was leaking, and it was right before the hurricane, so I called the HOA, and they told me if the window I'm putting in matches the other windows in the house, I don't need to get it approved. Now, all I'm asking for now is time to fix the problem, because I didn't get the letter because I was out of town working. I signed up at the post office to see what's coming in my mail. And when I saw that, I called, I said, this letter's supposed to be in my mail, but I didn't get it. What's going on? That's when the village told me it's a certified letter and someone has to sign for it. I was out of town working, so I wasn't able to sign for it. So I called twice, and they told me they'll leave a message for Anthony. Anthony did not call me back until Friday, this Friday. He called me to tell me that I have a hearing on Wednesday. I said, for what? What did I do? So I'm asking for time to fix the problem, because I didn't know this was an issue until this past Friday.
Okay. Do I have anything more from the village?
I can give you compliance dates. She needs to go through the permit process for both
Yeah,
things.
first off, HOAs don't issue permits. HOAs just bother people when they don't do what the HOA wants them to do.
Oh.
So the village is the one who issues the permit.
Right.
The contractor should know that the village issues the permit. They should have applied for a permit for you, and they didn't, because it's so much easier for them not to go through the process, not to deal with inspections, just get paid and leave you where you are.
That's the thing with the contractor. I had him buy the window, fix the window, and repair the wall in my bathroom because the window was leaking. And he sent me receipts for a whole bunch of stuff. I said, it's just to buy the window and fix the wall. And he wanted me to pay extra money. So now I'm calling him to find out about the window, and he's not answering. So.
Who's your contractor?
His name is Johnny.
Johnny?
I only know him by Johnny. But he fixed a bathroom for me before, so I thought, okay.
Well, Johnny needs to be registered with the village, and he needs to file for permits, which was not done here. You've got an odd window that doesn't match your neighbors. You're in Madison Green, which is highly regimented.
No, I'm in Seminole Lakes.
Okay, Seminole Lakes, okay.
So I'm only asking for time to fix the problem, sir.
The time to ask for the time was at the violation hearing. It's fine. Oh, in that case, oh, sorry, wrong page. All right, violation hearing. Okay, so she needs to get a permit. So let's give her a couple
We're asking
months.
for compliance by February 27th or the March 12th.
She's never going to get that. Let's do the March stuff.
That is the March hearing date.
February 27th.
12th.
Let's see. Because she's going to probably run into the same problem. She's not talking to the person who did this.
Well, more than likely, the person who did this is not a licensed contractor.
Oh, guaranteed. Johnny's not.
So do I need to take the window out? What do I do from here? I've never done this before.
Regardless, you're going to have to hire a contractor. You can't just take the window out and now block it back up. You're going to have to hire a contractor, and that contractor is going to pull a permit for whatever work he's going to do. So you need to
Hire a contractor to pull a permit to redo the window because Johnny's not licensed.
Okay. All right.
And, all right, when's the hearing, 3/12?
It's 3/12.
All right, so a week earlier is like give me sometime in March. Give her as much time as we can.
So that would be March 7 is the Friday before the hearing.
All right, so you're going to have until March 7th to go find yourself a contractor and pull a permit. If you
Thank
find
you,
yourself
sir.
a contractor and he pulls the permit before March 7th, you're fine.
Okay,
I mean,
March
and I
March
would just-
7th?
Yeah, March 7th, which gives you,
But obtain the permit, not apply for the
yeah,
permit.
you have to get the permit, and that takes a few weeks. So you need to get someone who's licensed and insured in the village and have them apply for a permit for you to replace that window.
And she also needs to address the structure that's in the backyard that's on the photo, so there's two
Oh, and you
things.
need to get rid of
Right.
that, whatever's on top of that.
I bought the house with it, but I'll get rid of it if it's a
Yeah,
problem.
unfortunately, people buy houses with unpermitted sheds all the time. You just,
You can try to get it permitted, but you either have to get a permit
or remove
or
it.
remove it.
Take it down, yes.
Right.
One to do because it's not structural. It's just,
Okay.
okay? 3/7/3/12/25, granted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Same page, going up a couple of cases, 24-0719, 853 Hibiscus Drive, Yalen Portela and Jan Rodriguez.
Okay.
Hi, good evening. My name is
Hey, Judy.
Yaelin Portela.
Jan Rodriguez.
This is my husband, and this is Jeff Silver, our realtor.
Okay.
We were requesting that this case be pulled. The respondent, because we didn't have service, the respondent is strongly recommended that you hear this case, so before you proceed in hearing it, we would need them to stipulate to service in this matter.
Do you stipulate to service in this matter? Or do you want an extra month to deal with this before you come before
No,
me?
I'd rather deal with it now.
Okay. They stipulate to service then.
Go ahead.
You are. It's Code Section 622-1084. The description is commencing, work without a permit. I observed the violation on 9/6/24. Certified mail was mailed out on 9/6/24. I would like to admit the following items into evidence: notice of violation. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, photos. The thing with this case, Your Honor, so I can clarify, the notice of violation, the original notice of violation, notice of hearing was mailed out in, I think I have it.
It doesn't matter, they've stipulated to service,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter.
Service doesn't matter. We're going on to the meat of this case because they just can't wait.
Know that it was mailed originally to an owner and the property sold.
So, yeah.
Do you don't have a permit printout sheet? Okay.
What was the work that was done? Oh, you're going through the docs. Go ahead.
That the village would like to enter into the record. Exhibit 1 is the notice of violation, notice of hearing. Exhibit 2 is verification of ownership showing that you own the property. And Exhibit 3 is a photograph of the violation. Any objection to these documents being entered?
Well, the first letter was
You've already
issued and sent
stipulated
to the
service.
prior
You've already
owner, right?
stipulated to that,
Okay,
so
then there you go.
That's not an argument anymore because
Okay.
you wanted to come
That's
play
fine.
early. You
That's
could have
fine.
come in next month and had more time to do your stuff, but whatever. All right, so I don't worry about service in this case because they've stipulated to service. And what did they do to this lovely, what is it, the garage?
Initially, this area,
What area are you pointing to? Describe it in words.
put on there, it used to be a carport.
Okay?
That we went in, it was closed in. They closed that whole area in, and there's also a fence that was put there. This particular photo I took on a Saturday, they were doing, I don't know who, but they were doing the work without the permit when I came in on that part. But before, when I cited it the first time, they had closed in the carport area, and they made it into, that was on the original violation, the date on the, well, the date on the original violation is the first time that it was cited.
9/6/2024.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so you obviously have all the permits, right?
So for the fence, yes. for the conversion. First, may I just back up a little bit and give you a little bit of
Go
background?
ahead.
So I represented these two young first-time home buyers in purchasing this home. They were very excited to be a part of this community. We did everything by the book as we're supposed to. We protect our clients by running searches, as you know, on permits and violations before closing to make sure that those are identified and resolved prior to closing. We did that certainly in this case as well. We also received a certificate signed by Diane DeSanto, the village clerk, certifying that there were no open violations on this property. So we proceeded to purchase the home. The carport enclosure that he's suggesting that this couple did was not done by this.
No, he's not suggesting the couple did it. He's suggesting it was done without a permit.
As far as we can tell, we have evidence going back to 2008 that conversion was done back in 2008, probably by at least two owners ago. So they've done everything they possibly were supposed to do to protect themselves, but unfortunately, the search came back saying that there were no open violations, which was incorrect. There was definitely an open violation.
No, there were no violations that were cited at the time they asked.
Well, the date of this certificate from the village clerk was over a month after the citation was issued.
Well, that's an issue.
Yes, please.
It is, but it does not negate that work without a permit, we can't allow that to happen. And the building official, I believe, had even spoken to you. Did he not speak to you? Because he seemed to realize that there was a new owner.
No.
I'm not an attorney. I don't know building codes and laws, but I know that structure's been that way for at least 17 years.
For the structure to be grandfathered, it would have to be done before the code was set.
Which code?
The original site.
Regarding structures like this, which I would assume is done like in the 50s or 60s.
Okay.
So it does. So you don't get a grandfathered status when you have an unpermitted addition or an unpermitted thing that is done after a law has already been passed. This is just what we call not caught. Okay? So they weren't caught at this until someone finally did something here, and then they noticed, hey, this was supposed to be a carport. Let me go check for permits, and there are no permits. So you have an unpermitted portion of a building.
Correct, but we also have, what about the certification from the clerk?
Doesn't mean squat.
It means squat, so.
I mean, all that means is they look through their files and there's no open citations for anything that they know of. But that doesn't mean there's no problems that could exist, and it's not a guarantee by the village that everything you have there is permitted and is legal. All it means is if you look up their address in the village records, there's no liens and there's no code enforcement cases open.
But there were code enforcement cases open. I mean, I've done 450 transactions. I spoke with the title agent that performed that search. She's been doing this for 28 years. She's never heard of this happening before. It is somewhat of an anomaly, right?
It's not an anomaly. I get cases monthly where someone buys a house and there's a shed in the back.
I'm not talking about an open
and there's no, well, this is just a typical. And there's no permit for that shed. And that shed's been there 25 years on a slab that's that long too, but it's still not permitted and it's sitting in an easement, you know? And they didn't do it, and they just bought it that way, and it's always been that way, and they bought a problem. Your clients bought a problem that they didn't know happened, because if you really want to check this, you go to the building department and you check the permit list. And if you pull my house, you'll find I have fence permits and a playhouse permit and all those other things, and they can show you the dates of the numbers and the permits. Unfortunately for you, this wasn't caught until after they bought it. So you're rushing in here to go get this fixed, and it's not fixable unless you either get it permitted or you remove it. And we had this little diatribe with the other lady here, and she had the closed-in back patio, and as I told her, it's hard as heck to find an engineer who's going to put his certification on the line to go give you a set of permit plans or plans of any kind without going in there and actually poking holes in the walls to make sure that all of these things are done according to the South Florida Building Code, and that the studs are 16 inches on center, and that they're hurricane strapped down, and that everything was done properly.
And just so that you know, the previous owner and their people that were trying to sell it should have disclosed this to you. They should have disclosed the violation to you.
That may very well be true.
That is very true. And our building official wants this to be on record. We have scopes. You can open, they can go in and do a small opening in the wall to be able to look. They want it on record. They want the drawings. They want to complete everything. They're not asking you to tear it out. They're asking to get a permit and to make sure that it is of some substantial, like it should be, right, to be built. And that's really what we were trying to get. And then on top of that, you guys have done additional work out there, which has kind of complicated things. And
Building permits for that, though.
I understand, but I do want you to contact me tomorrow, because the permit that you pulled is not going to take care of all of that. You pulled a
Not the
permit to
carport,
move
not the carport.
No, not the carport.
No, not the carport, but I'm talking about, like, you pulled a permit to move the door, and they permitted the door, not the blocking of the wall or however you did that. That wasn't done.
Yeah, we'll call tomorrow then.
Yeah, so we need to talk more in depth and get everything done, which is kind of what I was trying to
All right, so this sounds
push you
like it
to
needs
do.
about 2 or 3 months.
Ask them, are you objecting to permitting the carport, the work that's done on the screen?
I don't see how we can.
Okay, so 2 paths here. Given the letter that you're entering into the record, which I'm going to give to the magistrate, we can either dismiss this, or if you're already in the process of pulling a permit, you can just include this work in the permits that you're pulling and resolve it all at one time. As the code enforcement supervisor has indicated, you've done other work without permits, so we can dismiss this, but we're going to recite you under a new case, which negates this, because you've continued to do other work. We'll include that in this. So if you're willing to get the permits, we can continue on this. We'll give you more than enough time to come into compliance so that no fines are in play. As Linda said, the village is interested in making sure that you should be interested in making sure that whoever did that work did it correctly. Because you as a new homeowner don't want to own something that wasn't constructed in accordance with the building code. So,
And I got to tell you, my playhouse made it through Francis, Jeannie, and Wilma after being permitted and inspected, because they made me put hurricane straps on everything. So I strapped the crap out of that building, and it was solid. So what do you want to do? You want to like let this be dismissed, and it gives you more time, and then you come back and you get some more time? You don't need to be rushing into this, code enforcement thing. You need to be rushing into the building department thing and applying for permits, and you need to find yourself a nice engineer who will take these things, and they call them boroscopes. Yeah, they're just fancy little optical cameras, so they can see that the wiring is either encased in conduit, and the things are in the right places and that kind of stuff. So I think you should take the suggestion of the dismissal.
Are you willing, if we give you plenty of time, do you want to just do it all as one permit and not have to come back through this exercise again next month?
I think so.
Yes,
Okay, so we'll give them plenty of time. We'll recommend, and you obviously give them the time to comply, but we can give them, if 3 months is.
Give them 3 months.
That's more than acceptable.
And that way, you're in the code, but then you can use this to say, look, I'm in code enforcement, I need this engineering quick, and then you're going to have to try to find somebody. And hopefully you can find an engineer who's got an associate, who's capable of doing the work.
And you called it a boroscope?
Yeah, it's just some sort of, they're gonna cut some holes in the wall, small ones, and stick a little camera in there just to make sure. I mean, you can buy those at Harbor Freight. I have one. All right, if they're going to proceed, it's admitted as defendant's number 1. Do we make a copy? Do you keep this? What do you want? I don't care about who gets the document.
Can the village keep that for the file? Yes. Okay.
Now defendant's number 1, it'll be included in the file. Give me a date sometime.
We're going to do May,
Okay.
compliance by May 9 or the May 14th fine hearing.
Or 25?
Yes.
Okay. And that way, you have months to get your permits going, but the hardest thing is going to be finding an engineer to certify the carport renovation.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
You guys have time, come in.
granted.
Plans that are there.
Now, I don't know why they're still in the back of the room. You may want to talk to them.
So I don't even know my email address. It's not .fl, it's fl.gov. Okay.
And I have questions.
You can try my phone, but I'm like all over the office. Usually at my desk. But if you call the building department, they can track me down.
Okay.
They're 5128.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
But then we
Thank
can
you
go
so
over,
much.
we can go over the plans that are there, because
Okay.
they did move the door, but they didn't actually do the, the structure for the wall.
Okay.
So they put that in the scope.
Jeff
That's not
Silver.
what the permit actually is. So I want to make sure that you get everything, and you're going to be hiring an engineer anyways. So you might as well do it all at one time.
Just do everything together.
Make sure they're licensed and they're licensed in the village.
Yeah, licensed contractors.
You don't want Johnny.
No Johnny. No Johnny.
Johnny.
Thank you.
All right. For a 7-page agenda, folks.
I know.
And I have to rescind my thank you for page 1.
It was still good, Doug. It's the best page you're going to get.
It is the best page I got tonight, definitely.
Page 1, let's go back there. Fine
Let's go to
assessment
page one,
hearings.
Case 1.
24-0288 is being pulled.
Excellent.
24-0306 is being pulled. 24-0607 is being pulled.
Page 2. You're welcome.
24-0702, 199 Sandpiper Avenue, Lexington, Jacobs.
That's,
Page 3, sorry, they're out of order.
yeah, on top of page 2 is 240833.
24-0833, 101 Hemingway Court, Progress Residential Borrower 12 LLC. I'll do that, you go.
Willie, my bud. Love me, Willie.
Special Magistrate, I'd like to submit the following documents into evidence. The order finding violation, the verification of ownership is Exhibit 2, order finding violation is Exhibit 1. The pictures are Exhibit 3, and an affidavit of compliance is Exhibit 4.
Cool. All right, so you have service via signed green card. I love Willie Grant's stamp. He's my fave. Anyone in the mailroom needs this. Do we have a fine of any kind? How much?
It's for 11 days, so we're asking for a fine of $275 and not continuing.
275, no continuing is granted.
24-0853, 10897 Grandview Court, FKH SFR Propco B, holder P.
Because you don't want these things to spread to your other named properties, so you have to make up weird names. That's exactly why they're doing it.
I'd like to submit the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1 is the order finding violation. Exhibit 2 is the verification of ownership. Exhibit 3 are the pictures.
Okay.
And Special Magistrate, in this case, Section 06190A15 has complied, so we'd ask that you have an order that says that that continues to comply.
Which is that, the structure or the garbage?
The structure.
The structure complied, but the garbage can didn't?
Right, and so we're asking for a $325 and continuing fine on the garbage can because it's been out of compliance for 13 days.
That's the silliest thing ever, but okay, 325 plus continuing is granted.
24-0593, 11451 Southern Boulevard, Parsons, MH and Sons Lumber Company.
You had a signed green card on the last case, just to fill the record. Okay, next.
You need
I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures.
All right, you have a signed green card, so you have service.
Compliance for 13 days at $50 a day, so we're asking for a fine of $650 and continuing.
50 plus continuing is granted.
You.
24-0604, 2650 Pine Road, Madison Green Golf Club, LLC.
I'd like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, previous order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures. Exhibit 4 is for under permit information.
All right, I see a scribbly signature on the bottom of this. Is that someone who acknowledged the receiving it?
Yep, that was her picking it up.
Okay, so the order of violation also had the hearing date. Is that correct?
Correct.
So they have notice of hearing via actual service, as you love to call it.
Office and
As you
picked up
like
a
to call
copy.
it. I don't know if it's the proper term, but it's the term we use. So granted, so that's fine. All right, what do we have on this one?
Compliance for 13 days at $50, so $650 and continuing.
$650 plus continuing is granted. They're
Thank
just
you.
prepping it for the winter users.
24-0617-1103 Royal Palm Beach Boulevard, Royal Palm Center, BK LLC.
I'd like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures. Exhibit 4, AS400 permit information.
So that my BK? That'd be my Burger King. I use my coupons on that one. All right, so you have a signed green card, so you have service. What would you like on this?
This one's been out of compliance for 13 days at $100 a day, so $1,300 and continuing.
1300 plus continuing. You're going to make my coupons invalid.
24-0702-199 Sandpiper Avenue, Lexington, Jacobs.
Following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures. Exhibit 4, AS400 permit information.
All right, what's out on this one?
They got a play structure without a permit, a driveway without a permit, a shed, and a gazebo without a permit.
You know, I was going to say that's a great trifecta, but I don't know what the quad version is, so. You had green card signed, so you have service. What would you like on this?
This one's been out for 13 days, so $325 and continuing.
325 plus continuing is granted.
24-0721-129 Sparrow Drive, Chabad Jewish Center of RPB, Inc.
I'd like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation, USPS tracking. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures. Exhibit 4, AS400 permit information.
He used to show up all the time. All right, you have USPS tracking confirmed, so you have service. What would you like?
This one's been out of compliance for 13 days at $50, so $650 and continuing.
Is granted.
Thank you.
24-0878 is being pulled. 24-0737 665 Royal Palm Beach Boulevard, Royal Palm Beach RT Investment LLC.
Racetrack. Okay.
It's code section 2349, B15, stop sign missing. I would like to admit the following items into evidence. Order finding violation. Exhibit 1, Exhibit 2, a verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, a photo.
Actually, your most important exhibit was Exhibit 2, the USPS tracking confirmed, which gives you service.
You're right, Exhibit 2, USPS tracking.
Yeah, that's what you want. That gets you service, which gets you into the ballpark. And they're missing a stop sign by the stripey on the ground, which really is kind of dull too. So what would you like?
This one's been out of compliance for 13 days at $25, so $325 and continuing.
325 plus continuing is granted. Next, please.
24-0739 238 Park Road North, IH3 Property, Florida, LP.
Code section 06190A, description was for the structure stained. I would like to admit the following items into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation, also USPS tracking. Exhibit 2, a verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, a photo.
All right, you have a signed green card, so you have service, and we know these people made them work the day after Christmas.
We're going to ask for no fine.
Fine is granted.
24-0741 720 Royal Palm Beach Boulevard, De Leon Christopher.
Or is it Christopher De Leon? We don't know. a signed green card, so you have service.
942 for fence and disrepair. I would like to admit the following items into evidence. Exhibit 1, an order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, photo.
It's a sad-looking fence. You have service. What would you like?
This one's been out of compliance for 11 days. It did come into compliance, so we're asking for a fine of $275 and not continuing.
$275, no continuing is granted. All right, page 4.
807-11111 Southern Boulevard, IVT Southern Royal Palm Beach, 1031 LLC.
Address. It's 11111111 Southern Boulevard.
Code Section 2041, description will be prohibited sign. I would like to admit the following items into evidence. An order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, also AS400 info. And Exhibit 3, photo.
Oh, they're the people with the Cybertruck that's wrapped.
I think so.
Yeah, I saw that. Let's buy a $100,000 vehicle and wrap it with stuff because stainless is ugly. All right, so you have a lovely La Cantina sign and you don't have a permit for it. You have service. What would you like?
This one has been out again for 13 days, so $325 and continuing.
$325 plus continuing is granted. They should learn to where to store their things. Okay, and now we're on to violations.
Yes, sir. Violation hearings 24-0927, 126 Ponce de Leon Street, Danielle M. and Joyce C. Bowman.
Ms. Walker's getting her steps in.
The code section is 14-4A for a disabled vehicle. The violation was observed on November 15th. The notice of violation and notice of hearing was sent out on November 19th and returned. I'd like to submit the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1 is the notice of violation and notice of hearing. Exhibit 2 is the verification of ownership. Exhibit 3 are the pictures.
All right, dead Chevy. You have a signed green card. What would you like?
January 30th or appearance at the 212 fine hearing or $25 a day fine.
1225 is granted.
24-0928 is being pulled. 24-0937, 388 La Mancha Avenue, Madry A. Sutherland, Madry A. Sutherland trustee, Madry A. Sutherland trust title holder.
Code Section 15141, 1571, 622, 108.4. They removed sod without a vegetation removal permit, installed unapproved material, which was gravel for parking without a permit. I observed this violation on 11/19/24, sent out a violation notice hearing on 11/21/24, received it back signed and not dated. I'd like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures. And it should have an affidavit of compliance, and I failed to print that. But they have completed it by installing grass again.
I was looking for it because I could see the new sod, but okay, we will take Ms. Hancock's oral testimony that there has been completion, and this is just a finding of fact, or
Yes, sir. Thank you.
it is granted finding of fact.
24-0938 is being pulled. 24-0945 is being pulled. 24-0729, 10341 Symphony Lane, Lori Sayer.
Code Section 144A, disabled vehicle. I observed the violation on 9/12/24. Notice of the certified letter was mailed out on 9/12/24, and I also posted the property. I would like to admit the following items into evidence. Exhibit 1, a notice of violation, notice of hearing, also an affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, photos.
All right, you have service via posting. It's a wonderfully nondescript car. I'm usually really good at identifying these things, but it's just gray. Yeah, well, that's why I have 2 or 3 ways to pump up air.
We're asking for compliance by 227 or the 312 fine hearing or $25 a day fine.
227, 312, 25 is granted.
Thank you. 24-0868, 11823 Balsam Drive, Maria and Nino Jarok.
Yurok, yes. At least I got that one right.
Code Section 14.4A, 14.4A, disabled vehicle. I observed the violation on 10/29/24. Certified mail was mailed out on 10/29/24. Also, the property was posted. I would like to admit the following items into evidence: a notice of violation, notice of hearing, also an affidavit of service, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, photos.
All right, you have service via posting,
And it's also be a finding of fact.
and I will grant the finding of fact.
24-0907, 840 Croton Drive, Marlene Gellin and Aurelio Michael.
Code Section 14.4A, disabled vehicle. I observed the violation on 11/7/24. Certified mail was mailed out on 11/7/24 and delivered on 11/13/24. I would like to admit the following items into evidence: Exhibit 1, a notice of violation, notice of hearing; Exhibit 2, a verification of ownership; and Exhibit 3, photos.
My big question is, do we miss one on the top of the page?
That one's being pulled. I'll do it next.
Okay,
Sorry.
All right, let me see.
Instead of spelling the word pull, and apparently that's not enough to trigger.
All right, well, we have signed green cards for this one, so it is enough, at least in terms of
So this-
service for 840.
840, we're asking for
Okay.
compliance by 1:30 or 2:12 fine hearing or $25 a day fine.
130, 212, 25 is granted.
And for the record, case 24-0906 is being pulled.
Yeah, they backfilled that, huh?
0984 Lexington Village Homeowners Association, Inc.
They just don't want you on their property. All right, you have a USPS track and confirm, so you have service.
He needs to read his
Code
testimony.
Section 11.3, C and D, gate access denied. Observed a violation on 12/10/24. Certified mail was mailed out on 12/10/24 and returned back on 12/11/24. I would like to admit the following items into evidence: Exhibit 1, a notice of violation, notice of hearing, also USPS tracking; Exhibit 2, a verification of ownership; and Exhibit 3, photos.
Okay, so USPS track and confirm his service. This is the same photo you had in the prior case. So you actually printed it and put it in two places. I was wondering where the car was, but okay. This is the clicker one. So you have service. What would you like with this?
And by 1:30 or the 2:12 fine assessment hearing or $25 a day fine.
You had the other one at 1:31. Do you want this one at 1:30 or do you want it?
I meant the other one at 1:30, so.
All right, let's go back to 840 Croton Drive, and I pass here, I grant your motion to amend the order to 1:30, 2:12, or 25, skipping back to 24-984 at Lexington Village Homeowners Association. That will be also 1:30, 2:12, 25.
Thank you, sorry about that.
I'm just trying to keep everything straight. We have an order rescinding hearing. Do you want
Yes.
to rescind a hearing?
Yes, 24-0909.
Granted.
Let me just read it into the record. It's 100 Sparrow Drive, Timber Creek Townhomes and Villas. It's an order finding repeat violation and assessing fine. We're requesting that you rescind that and vacate it.
Please.
I granted it already. I'll grant
Thank
it
you.
again.
Messed
Granted
up.
it, granted.
Have a good night.
Anything else to be brought before the code enforcement?
There may be one more.
Okay. I'm just going to say I signed some meeting minutes from September 11th.
Did you have minutes, Special Magistrate?
I signed minutes, I believe, from September 11th.
December 11th.
Was it December 11th or September? What was the date of the minutes I signed?
You signed minutes from September 11th.
Oh, look at me.
Reflect that the agenda is incorrect.
Look at who's keeping life straight again.
Gators? Sorry, go Gators.
And if you wonder if I pay attention to these things, yes, I do. And does it wash out of my brain in
December,
about 5
yeah.
minutes? Of course.
Nothing further for the magistrate.
We're still recovering from, I drive up, Coconut to go to North Lake. And the last two lots at North Lake on the right-hand side are just snap trees.
It's snap trees, but your real damage is really on the left side.
And then it hopped over and it took Avenir and made it have fun.
But if you look at the left side, that
By the park?
house right by the park, his vehicles were in the park.
Oh, I'm going to have to go through there then, because I'll,
On the left, as
no, I'm going to drive in there. The park, right?
on the left,
Yeah, right by the park.
on the west side of the road.
Yeah.
You'll see all the blue tarps, it tore up roofs, it took out carports, it took out sheds, everything. But the guy had a van that was blown into the corner of the park.
Isn't Mother Nature wonderful?
Yeah.
It is, and the whole serendipity of it all. If you were like a block over, you were fine. If you were there, you were
It actually
messed.
hit like 4 houses to the east of my mother. And the way it came, it was barely